What's going on? Brian Tong here, and welcome to the Apple Bits. And you know what? We're in 2020, but Apple hasn't released any new products just yet, so this is everything we expect to see from Apple in 2020, and I waited on this until we started to get really a little more than just doing a video that's basically a new version of everything from the previous year. So let's just get right into it, and the latest report from Ming-Chi Kuo really sets up the first half of 2020 to be jam-packed for the big A. He says Apple will release several new products, including the rumored AirTags that uses ultra-wideband tech, Apple's own branded high-end over-the-ear headphones, a new 4.7-inch iPhone that's looking like the iPhone SE 2, refreshed iPad Pro models, and refreshed MacBook Pro and Air models possibly, plus reports of a small wireless charging mat. So expect all of this to arrive sometime in the first half of 2020, but let's break down what we know about some of these specifically. And honestly, the most exciting thing to me, it may not be the biggest thing, but it has to be AirTags, and we've seen similar products from Tile and Tracker, who are two of the companies that really built this tracking tag product category, but Apple's using more advanced tech and the power of the ecosystem to really take it to this next level. Now, the AirTags, they were first rumored to possibly be appearing at Apple's September event when they announced their new U1 chip inside the iPhone. It uses ultra-wideband technology, and it's the first ever in a smartphone, giving the iPhone spatial awareness. Now, AirDrop expected to instantly benefit from this in iOS 13.1 by precisely locating other U1 equipped Apple devices. Apple's website even says if you want to share a file with someone using AirDrop, just point your iPhone at theirs and they'll be first on the list. But I don't know about you all recently, I've actually found with the new OS, AirDrop has been less accurate and takes more time for devices to show up. Even people that were easy to find before, sometimes they don't even show up. I don't know about you, but this is a real thing for me. Maybe it's more of a software issue. I just don't know, so maybe you all can chime in as well. But if we go back to the U1 chip, it's going to especially play a huge role for the rumored Apple AirTags that you could put on things like your keys, your wallet, or your children, or your pets, or whatever you want. Ultra-wideband is a short-range, low-power radio technology that gives you precise indoor positioning that Bluetooth LE or Wi-Fi just can't. So if we talk about the distance between two UWB, ultra-wideband devices for short, let's just say a new iPhone 11, iPhone 12, and one of those Apple tags can be measured precisely by calculating the time it takes for a radio wave to pass between the two devices. So UWB is up to 100 times more accurate than Bluetooth LE and Wi-Fi according to Electronic Design. If we just go by the numbers, UWB signals are able to measure the distance between two items within a 5 to 10 centimeter accuracy. If we look at Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, that number is roughly a 5-meter accuracy. Centimeters we're talking about with UWB. So Apple's system will be extremely precise, 10 to 20 times more precise, and then be able to locate an item within 2 to 4 inches. That is crazy. If an item has the U1 chip, but an older device doesn't, it'll most likely rely on Bluetooth LE to track them nearby. But then you add this power of Apple's ecosystem and its huge user base to potentially help you find lost devices when they come across them, right? Their phones, they'll kind of be on this mode that if it gets pinged by a lost device, it'll send a message to you where you lost that item, and then it's sent to you over an encrypted connection. It's not like we know exactly about these people. We're just kind of creating this hive of like tentacles that constantly can see where devices are if they're lost. And the level of that accuracy just takes tag tracking to this whole nother level. And this is why it's not the biggest thing. It's not a flagship device, but this is why it's one of the most exciting products that I'm waiting for in 2020. I don't know about you, but I think they sound sick. All right, Apple's high-end over-the-ear headphones, they've been talked about for over a year after Bloomberg's Mark Gurman reported that we might see them as early as the second half of 2019. They would include Apple's branding and be positioned as a higher-end alternative, playing really in that Sony 1000, MX3, and Bose 700 space, which is really competitive, and we know that we'll see the new versions of those two headphones this year. But the idea is that they'll have the convenience of the AirPods with high-end quality sound, and then after seeing what Apple has done with the HomePod and the improvements from the AirPods to the AirPods Pro for sound, I believe they can deliver. Apple is really becoming a high-end audio product company if you've seen what they've been doing lately. Not that the HomePod has sold well, but it sounds great. Now, the other new product in here that is a surprise that we might see in this first half of 2020, a small wireless charging mat? Like, really? We know how Apple canceled the AirPower charging mat due to quality issues last year, and it promised to charge 3 Apple devices wirelessly by just putting them on it anywhere. But does Apple really need to release a smaller one when there are plenty of them out there? Sure, why not? I mean, they made iPhone cases, and actually their iPhone cases, they break down really fast. So yeah, do whatever you want, guys. But we've also talked about with other products, the new low-cost 4.7-inch LCD display iPhone, aka the iPhone SE2, aka the iPhone 9, that will be bringing a similar design as the iPhone 8. It'll have Touch ID as a home button, top and bottom bezels with a faster A13 chip and 3 gigs of RAM, with a predicted starting price around $399. According to Bloomberg, mass production of this rumored iPhone SE2 will start in February, and it could be available as early as March. Also, we didn't see the iPad Pros at the end of 2019 like we expected, but we are expecting to see them in 2020, equipped with a triple lens camera system and a time-of-flight sensor for augmented reality experiences. Now, there's also been reports that 5G could be coming to the iPad Pros before the iPhone even gets it this year, which might be disturbing to me because that means more people will be taking photos and videos on their iPads, and it's going to kind of like reinvigorate that community that it's gross. Just don't do it. But also, the new iPad Pros are expected to still come in the same size as the 2018 iPad Pros, so that would be 11-inch and a 12.9-inch, and we should expect to see them, roughly, the reports are sometime March this year. And then possibly new MacBook Pro and Air refreshes. This report here isn't very specific, but the rumor mills have said that a MacBook Pro 13-inch with the updated scissor switch keyboard from the MacBook Pro 16 is expected to come out in the first half of 2020. The expectation, obviously, is that Apple will end up moving its entire notebook lineup to the scissor switch keyboard. So look at all that just lined up for the first half of 2020. That is jam-packed. And look, we haven't even touched the second half of 2020 until now. So we're going to jump into it. We already know a lot about the 5-model iPhone lineup, and that includes the 4.7 that we talked about earlier. We are expecting 4 new OLED iPhone models with a 5.4-inch display, potentially 2 6.1-inch ones, and a 6.7-inch display, notches included. Come on, why notch? Now, Japanese blog Mako Takara says the 6.7-inch model will be nearly 10% thinner at 7.4 millimeters and taller than last year's 11 Pro Max. The 5.4-inch and the lower-end 6.1-inch will have a dual-lens camera setup similar to the iPhone 11. And then if you move up to the higher-end 6.1-inch and 6.7-inch, those two will have the triple-lens camera and the time-of-flight sensor. Now, the time-of-flight sensor, this is going to be big because all reports say it'll allow better depth sensing and bring you benefits to photos, videos, and then augmented reality experiences. Tim Cook talks about augmented reality. He keeps on talking about it. Maybe we'll finally see something in 2020, at least more of it on the iPhone. Now, the 6.7-inch will also have a larger camera sensors than the 11 Pro Max, according to the report. The phone is also expected to bring an all-new A14 processor chip, 5G connectivity, a beefier 6 gigs of RAM for 2 of the higher-end models. We don't know for sure if Wi-Fi 6 is coming to it. And then also, will USB-C finally be coming to the iPhone? It's the only flagship product still hanging on to Lightning. Plus, a recent report is that the iPhone 12 Pro could come in a new midnight blue finish, replacing midnight green, according to XDA developer Max Weinbeck, because colors matter, even if you slap a case on them right after. They matter. All right, the Apple Watch Series 6 on tap for 2020. We don't have too much information, but the biggest new features will be finally bringing quality sleep tracking from Apple built in to a device that has all the sensors it needs to do it. Hardware-wise, there have been reports that it will be the first Apple device to get an all-new micro LED screen that is thinner, more power efficient, while still giving you the same visual benefits from OLED, deep blacks, true colors. Also, patents revealed show that Apple has been thinking of offering Face ID for their watch, and 2020 could potentially usher in the use of more smart bands that bring more functionality to it. Even for me, I've talked about this, the Dick Tracy watch, a camera on a band for FaceTime, that would be slick, but that's just my own wishful thinking. Now, the Apple Watch is still the most exciting product that has the most room to continue to evolve. In 2020, let's be honest, if they gave us just true sleep tracking, an updated display, a processor boost for speed, and then more than anything, a significant boost in battery life to, let's throw it out there, get at least closer to 3 days without charging. We saw what they did with the iPhone 11 Pro. Battery life matters. Like, when you can squeeze out more, people love your product more. That's one of the reasons why I love the 11 Pro so much. plus other software tweaks that we'll get from watch OS, they'll continue to have a winner if they do this. I mean, honestly, the reality is that if they sold the same thing they have now and did nothing, they'd arguably still have a winner, because the Series 3 is the most popular Apple Watch right now, even from a sales standpoint. You can also expect the normal refresh and speed bumps for the MacBook Pro lineup and the Mac Pro, but the big Mac question, what is happening with the iMac and the iMac Pro? We haven't seen a redesign since 2012. Nothing has been reported, but we know there's been a revamp of the notebook and the Mac Pro line. 2020 is the time that we need to see something for the new iMac and iMac Pro. Just making it space gray and faster is enough. We need to see something fresh to get us going this year. Now, let's jump over to audio. Apple took their time with the AirPods when they first released them, and with the AirPods Pro doing so well, I'd argue that I don't think there's a need to rush out any second generation of them this year. They can keep milking those for a while. Honestly, they just add a new color black for the AirPods Pro, and people will be ecstatic. They'll be like running up the walls and buying them. But the big thing, the HomePod, that needs a whole lot of help. The price does have to come down more. That still isn't making any type of dent for Apple. But really, more than anything, they need to bring a HomePod Mini at a much more affordable price so that it's in more places around the home. They need that whole smart home world to be covered in your household, but they don't have the products at the right price to do it. They also need to bring better smart home device compatibility, and above all things, while still being secure, they can do this and sticking to their strong stance of privacy. Siri still needs to get better, otherwise we won't see much traction in the HomePod space as they continue to fall behind Amazon and Google. I have been ripping on Siri forever. I will continue, as they gotta get it better. That's one of the big things that they need. But what's one place that they can make Siri more accessible? How about put on the next gen Apple TV 4K? I'm not saying this is going to happen, but it's time for an update to the Apple TV and then adding Siri to it so you don't have to reach for a remote, press a button, talk to it. That would increase just people being more comfortable and familiar with using it in the home on a casual way. Also, the other big possible drop from Apple in 2020, the big drop, the mystery product we have not talked about, will we see the Apple glasses? Now, I want them to drop when they're ready, but, you know, they've been working on them for some time now. We know Tim Cook, he continues to, like, pile on his love for augmented reality. Will 2020 be the year that we finally see the Apple glasses? It seems like this year's already going to be jam-packed with so many products, but if there was a surprise product that we could see for holiday 2020, it would be the Apple glasses. All right, everybody, did I miss something? Like, I'm sure I did. I didn't even talk about their services, but you know what? We could do that another time. But I'd love to hear from you, the people. What are your top 3 most anticipated Apple products that you would like to see in 2020? Because after going through that list, if I had to think about it, I'm going to go, I know it's not popular, but I'm really going to go with Apple AirTags. Then, you know my love for the Apple Watch. I'm going to go with the Apple Watch Series 6. Hope they bring that sleep tracking and some new bells and whistles. And honestly, the iPhone 12 Pro, because the 2020 iPhone, I've been talking about for a while, is really this next big leap with 5G, augmented reality. And then after what they did with the 11 Pro, I am ready for it. I'm excited about it. But then if Apple drops a foldable this year, which they aren't planning to, there's no reports that say they are, unless they are, they could just like throw out my entire list, just throw it out here. It doesn't matter, because that would be the most exciting thing. All right, if you like this video, you know what to do. Thumbs up, subs up, and hit that notification bell, ding, to get all my videos when they drop. And if you want more Apple, you can't get enough, check out my weekly Apple Bits podcast, where we just go deep into these stories. We also have special guests, plus all my content. It's independent, the videos, the podcast, everything. And I'd love your support at patreon.com/Brian Tong. So thanks so much for watching. Take care, everybody. Be safe, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.